Hi, good morning. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Guys, we've had one of our superstars send us in some data from Canada. Before we get into that, as always, super big thanks to those few people, and it's always a few people that step up and support the Observatory with a little bit of financial support on either PayPal, Patreon. Massive thanks to you guys. The only way we can continue doing what we're doing is by getting support. So let's get into it. Canada. As we know, when we do our Earth Health at a glance every week, we know that Canada is in an unstable region on the Earth with regards to its magnetic intensity over Canada right now. And we know why that is. It's because there's an intense over Russia, just below the Arctic Circle, building up in intensity, and it is winning the dipole. Canada, on the other hand, is losing its dipole because of its weakening gradual intensity. And if you look at the charts that we get month in, month out from Canada now, you can see that Canada is one of the regions out of probably all of the regions that we look at, which shows throughout the month some kind of form of change, even if it does fluctuate between a few microteslas. Now, when you go over to probably other sites like the ESA, NASA and NOAA, they're going to measure it in nanoteslas, not microteslas. So, if you just times microteslas by 1,000, you get an idea of how much it's moving, over the course of a month. And we're lucky to have people like Kendall who, are dedicated to it. He really is a dedicated guy who sends us, like all our other superstars, their data. I just checked my emails and noticed Jeff from Perth, Australia has sent his data in, so we'll process that now tomorrow. But, we're keeping an eye on this thing because this is the anomaly which has decided to come back up at a time when human beings are on the planet. We've only been here 42,000 years as a species of Homo sapiens, and we've been technologically advanced, let's say, or industrial revolutionised for the last really 250 years. So it's a unique time. We're able to notice these changes that are taking place and relay the data back to you guys. And we really shouldn't take this for granted because this is a rare anomaly. The last time the Earth went through a completed reversal was 780,000 years ago, and we're back right there now. Today, it's real, it's happening. Even mainstream organisations, like I've mentioned earlier, will support the fact that the Earth is going through a magnetic reversal. What are the implications for human beings during that process? And Kendall, along with his data, sent me just, an idea. He said, don't you think it's a bit strange, Gene, that the Pentagon are coming out releasing data now on UFOs? I've always known, and I'm not a tin hat person, I do base things on facts and what I've seen, and I have been put in a unique opportunity along with somebody else to actually see something which can't be explained by the technology that we have today, or it can't be compared with anything else that we've got, that we see. So I know, or I've known for a long time deep down, that we are definitely visited. And why wouldn't we at this point in time be visited when our Earth is going through such great changes, and not just through our technological marvel and improvements over the years now? Because look at us, we've got iPhones, most of our life revolves around those. We can check our bank accounts, we can communicate multiple ways on apps and things like that. But why wouldn't extraterrestrials come visit us when at the end of the day, we have a planet which supports life, which is rare, as we know, because I think the nearest planet that we've seen using our best telescopes like Hubble out in space are light years away. So if that is how rare a planet is like ours, and it's going through such dramatic changes, Why wouldn't you want to be interested in that, into seeing how things evolve, how the species on that planet evolve? So Kendall, it's a good question. Are they, aware now and releasing information with regards to UFOs and visitors from other worlds? And like Kendall said, is it related to the pole shift? I think if you study planetary mechanics, and these explorers from other worlds would definitely be interested in exploring planets that go through major changes, would definitely have an interest in a planet like ours during this time. And I want to just bring it back to the roots, and to do that I want to just quickly go over to North School and have a look at the jet streams, just to put things in perspective of what changes are notably now being shown and taking place. So when we look at this, I'll just quickly go round the Earth so you get a good idea as to what is taking place with our jet streams. And if you follow or have been following us for a while now, you know that what we're looking at is abnormal behaviour of jet streams. We've got subtropical and polar jet streams mixing not just over the northern hemisphere but the southern hemisphere. If you're wondering why, your gut instinct is asking that question now. When you live at certain locations on this world, why am I having to put a cardigan on or a jumper on right now in almost the middle of summer? Well, it's simply because the jet streams have been modified by extra cosmic radiation inbound due to, first of all, a weakened magnetosphere, and then unfortunately we line up with a point in time where our sun has decided to go into a minimal productive state. So that shrinks the heliosphere, which protects not just our planet but the whole solar system, and as a result we have more cosmic radiation inbound from the sun going into an all-time low period of production, and our primary protective field, our magnetosphere, being weakened. These two things result in extra cosmic radiation and in turn interact with our jet streams. It is not, as mainstream organisations and media would have you believe, that this is a result of CO2 going into the atmosphere. Absolutely, and we have put this to bed many times, not the case. What is happening is nothing to do with the tiny little influence that we have in adding a little bit more carbon than natural. And if you just go back over the last few videos I've done, you'll see just how small and insignificant that amount of carbon is. And it's a terrible shame, guys, because we're living at a point in time now where scientists are just walking away from the field of science because they know the truth, and they cannot get that truth over to these people that are world leaders and running the world. And it's all down to lobbying and corruption, and it's changing people's lives and not for the better. What we've got is as you guys know, and I don't really need to talk about this, a capital system, and the capital system supports corruption, and there's nothing we can do or influence that, because these people are the ones in control of the power. It's only until we get to a point where we've had enough. I've said this many times. That happened when Gaddafi ran out of luck, and he ended up being pulled apart literally in the streets and murdered. And it's only until we reach that point where we're going to go to such extremes that we're going to change things, but we have to do it on a global basis now. And at the same time, we are going to have to put up with the modified changes that the jet streams bring. I mean, just look at this, what we're seeing right now. There is no distinction between a polar jet stream and a subtropical jet stream. We've got jet streams which are dragging polar and arctic winds down over climates at this time of the year where, because of our position and the natural tilt of the Earth, we're in the summer over the northern hemisphere, being just that little bit closer to it because of the natural tilt of our planet, and we're still getting these temperatures like we're all experiencing right now, which are abnormal for this time of the year. There it is in a nutshell. That's the changes now that we are beginning to see, and people are saying to me more and more now, it's instinct that we know something isn't right. It's not because of CO2 in the atmosphere. And when you hear about we're raising the levels of sea water, well, when you compare it over around Europe region of our planet, it's probably rising 1 millimetre a year. But at the equatorial region, where you should measure it because of the super bulge around the planet there through centrifugal force, that's where you should measure it. And if you did, and experts have, in the field of just studying sea floor rising and sea levels, they found that there is no change whatsoever. And these are professors from university that have walked away from their studies and research, because it doesn't matter how much you tell people that there is nothing to worry about with sea levels rising, because you've done the research and you've brought the data back. It's about the agendas with billionaires these days. That's really the nooks and cranny of what we're witnessing on a global scale. We will go through these changes, and at the end of the day, these people that ignore the real issues related to climate change are going to come unstuck at some point, and we can't turn to them for help because they are completely oblivious to the real reasons as to why things are changing with our planet. And we will be left to fend for ourselves, won't we? Well, as time goes on and we get closer and closer, and the magnetosphere continues to weaken, we will do what we can here at the observatory to keep you informed as best as possible. But it does require just a little bit of support now and then from you guys. And I know that there are some really great people out there that do not want to see what we do dissipate into the oblivion of YouTubers and important information which should come to light. I know that there's those people out there that want to make sure that people are aware and share our passion and enthusiasm to informing people. So I will say this, guys, there's a link down there if you want to help support us, and you know what, you have an amazing day. Take care of your loved ones, and as always, bye for now.